All right, here we are for day 21. Day 20 was an interesting one. I did eventually complete it. It took me what? Where's my stats? Took me close to 4 hours. I know I ended the stream about 2 hours in, because it was just it was just taking forever. But yeah, I basically went through the same solution that I was planning on doing for uh, before I ended the stream. It was just a ton of work. I ended up with close to 400 lines of code. And the solution I came up with, it worked. It just, it was a ton to work through. And that solution was use for part 2, we needed to stitch together the image and then find like the number of sea monsters within that image. And the solution there was, I started with figuring out the corners, and I took the first corner. It could have been any corner. It didn't matter which corner you picked. But you basically picked a corner and said, that's the corner that's going to be in my top left. So you did something. You did something like this. You had your grid, your 9 by 9 or whatever it was. So you first start by figuring out, this first corner tile. And you figure this out by just, it's the tiles that only have 2 matching sides, this being one, this being another. So you would end up with four tiles that would match that criteria. That would be the 4 corners. You only need to grab one and then orientate it. And that means that I needed functions that would flip and rotate my tiles. That's way up here. I got so many functions in here. So like here's one, flip horizontal, and you're basically just taking a 2D grid and reconfiguring it according to whether you want to flip it horizontally, flip it vertically, or rotate it. It's all a bit of, taking one coordinate and putting it in a different location. So you get your first tile, rotate it until, the left corner is empty and the top corner is empty. It doesn't have any matching sides. And then basically from there, I went down. I basically went tile by tile and figured out which goes in which position. Luckily, all the tiles only had like one side that matched. So this side has exactly one tile that would fit right here. So I'd figure out what that tile is, I'd rotate it accordingly so it matches. So like, this side was empty and this side matched the tile up here. Then I would continue on until I had all the tiles down here. And then I'd go up here and do the same, except this time I'd match to this side. And then I'd go down, up, down, up, down. And eventually I'd get a fully stitched image. Take that, remove the, each item's border. And then once you got into a 2D grid, I added these like search functions to search for the sea monster. And there's the trick to that too, creating a bunch of offsets and then only matching the offsets. A little bit of, efficiency for that. And yeah, I eventually got it done. So for day 22, let's see what we got. You reach the train's last stop. You need to speak the local language. sometimes allergens are listed in a language you do understand. You should be able to use this information to determine which ingredients contains which allergen and work out which foods are safe to take on your trip. Okay. You start by compiling the list of foods, your puzzle input. 1 food per line. Each line includes that food's ingredients list, followed by some or all of the allergens the food contains. Each allergen is found in exactly 1 ingredient. Each ingredient contains 0 or 1 allergens. Allergens aren't always marked. When they're listed as contains nuts, shellfish, after an ingredient list, the ingredients that contains each listed allergen will be somewhere in the corresponding list. Okay. However, even if an allergen isn't listed, the ingredient that contains that allergen could still be present. Interesting. Maybe they forgot to label it. For example, consider the following list of foods. Food A is 4 ingredients, contains dairy, contains fish. So one of these should be dairy and one should be fish. Contains dairy, contains soy, contains fish. Another constraint problem. The first food in the list has 4 ingredients written in a language you don't understand. While the food might contain other allergens, a few allergens the food definitely contain are listed afterward, dairy and fish. The first step is to determine which ingredients can't possibly contain any of the allergens in any food in your list. In the above example, none of the ingredients or can contain an allergen. Counting the number of times any of these ingredients appear in the list produces 5. Determine which ingredients can't possibly contain any of the allergens. So we have 5 ingredients that aren't an allergen. They all appear once except for one that does appear twice. Determine which ingredients can't possibly contain any of the allergens in your list. How many times do any of those allergens, those ingredients appear? Okay. Alright, so let's get this and practice with this. So we first need to start with parsing. So what do we want to turn this into? I guess I want a list of foods and a list of ingredients and a list of allergens. All right, so my foods are going to be ingredients and allergens. I guess I can have a list of ingredients, list of allergens, and then my foods are going to be a list of ingredients and allergens. All right, let's throw these guys up here. My ingredients. Let's have these as a half set. Can I have... I guess I could have that as a hash set too. All right. reach our food in final. We want our ingredients are going to be let's use regex. And our pattern is going to be a capture group of words or spaces up to a space and an open parentheses. We're going to say groups, capture group 1, and we're going to split this by spaces. Let's see what that looks like. Ingredients, list of 4. Okay, that looks good. And let's do something similar for the allergens. It's going to be food, and our capture group is going to be something that starts with the open parentheses, contains. Now let's see, let me see. In my input, am I going to have any that don't have allergens? Oh boy, it's a long list. Okay. I'll just assume that they all have allergens. All right, then our capture group is going to be word, comma, or space, ending with a close parentheses. And we're going to split this groups on value. We're going to split it on a comma and a space. All right, let's test that. 0. That's not good. What did we get wrong here? Does the comma need to be escaped? Contains. Nothing. Let's get our friend regexer. See if we can help me out a bit here with this capture group. This guy says it matches just fine. Oh, that's because I'm not specifying the capture group. Duh. I need a capture group right here. There we go. Dairy and fish. Okay. Let's see. So foods, add list of ingredients and a list of 2 hash sets and a list of allergens food hash set. All right. And then I want a unique set of ingredients. What does a hash set do? It just returns false if it doesn't add it, right? Oh, I wish I had that for each helper. All right, and allergens. Okay. Is that how you spell allergens? I have no clue. Let's see. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Allergens and ingredients. Oh, you're right. You need to be initialized. All right, so I should have a list of ingredients, 7 long, list of foods. All right, looking good. And a list of allergens, dairy, fish, and soy. So I need to get rid of that. Determine which ingredients can't possibly contain any of the allergens in any food. What do we want? I guess we can have a dictionary. We'll call this flag. Known allergens. Or maybe it'll be unknown allergens. Z3 would probably be a good solution for this, but I don't like how much time I spend figuring out Z3. So let's see, I want to go through, I want to take an allergen and then figure out what ingredient it is. So let's see, for each following allergen, what do I want to do? I want to take I'm going to get possible ingredients from the first foods, the first where first food that lists this allergen as a possible allergen, and I want to get the ingredients. So if we're looking at dairy, we'll get a list of 4 ingredients. In here, we need to do sort of a search. For each possible ingredients, let's see, it can be this ingredient if the allergen in the ingredient is present in other foods. How do I do that? So for each possible ingredient, check every other food. If any, dang, that's so annoying. If any food contains this possible ingredient and does not contain this allergen, or I guess we could say all. Well, this might be simpler. What does that give me? 0 known allergens. It's not what I want to see. All right, for allergen dairy, I have 4 possible ingredients. So for ingredient 1, which is this, whatever this one is, if all foods contain both Oh, that's right. It was saying that the rules aren't correct, or the rules may not display the allergens. Allergens aren't always marked when they're listed. So how do I guess I can't verify unless I validate the entire model. But I guess we can look at it that if it says it contains dairy, then it has to at least contain dairy. So we would invalidate it by finding one that says it contains dairy but not the ingredient. Guess we'd have to find all the possibilities and then test the model for each one. No, that doesn't make sense. I mean, for this one, I guess we're finding the unknowns anyway. So maybe we're doing this backwards. Maybe we need to get rid of the unknowns first. KFCDS. Go through each ingredient. Get the possible allergens. Foods where it contains this ingredient. We want what would that give us? A list of strings. So these are the possible allergens, and then we need to find for each of these allergens, we need to find a food that says it contains the allergen but doesn't contain our ingredient. If foods any for each all of our possible ingredients are invalidated if foods.any contains the ingredients but does not contain the allergen. No, wait. The other way around. If it does not contain the allergen, but it does contain the ingredient. Or, I mean, if it does, yeah, if it doesn't contain the ingredient, but does contain the allergen. Break? No, we don't want to break. So our unknowns are 4. KFCDS, NHMS, TRH. Is that correct? SBZZF? Yes, that is correct. But then we need to count the occurrence of each in the foods. What is it complaining about? Oh, it's because I was still running. Let's see, I got 5. Okay, that looks like a correct answer. Let's try with the input. $24.36. Wow. All right, part 2. Now you've isolated the inert ingredients. You should have enough information to figure out which ingredients contain which allergens. Dang. In the above example, this contains dairy, this contains fish, this contains soy. Dang. I was hoping... I knew I had to figure this out. So let's get our unknowns up here, because I want to use it in part 2. So for part 2, let's go back to our test foods. Let's say, what do we want to do? We want to take a new set of foods. And in this new set of foods, I want to remove the unknown ingredients from this new food list. And I'll do that by ingredients food.item 1 where I want all the items that aren't in unknowns. Where ingredients equals ingredients where the ingredient is not in unknowns. I think that is correct. Ingredients and the same allergens. All right, so for new foods, we should have the first food is either, right, we got rid of this KFCDS and NHMS. Those were our unknowns, right? Where was unknowns? Right, okay, so that looks good. All right, so we have our unknowns gone. And I guess we can update our ingredients too. Ingredients equals ingredients where not in unknowns. Right. So let's see, for each ingredient, our allergen is either going to be Hmm. I guess we can... Hmm. What do we want to do first? We could look through the list of foods and find which one has the same number of ingredients and allergens. I probably doubt this huge list is going to give me any that contain only one ingredient and one allergen. Or will it? Contains shellfish and soy. Contains soy. Let's take a look real quick. New foods. Ingredients, 7 ingredients, 7, 7. Yeah, we're not gonna see any that have an exact match. I guess we want to find allergens instead of allergens that match ingredients instead of ingredients that match allergens. So for each allergen, I guess we can grab a list of foods that all contain allergen. And in this list of foods, I guess we can look for one that has the same ingredient. But the whole can container might not contain the allergy is confusing. So for this one, we're gonna reduce it. All right, we're gonna start going through each allergen. We're gonna start with, say, dairy. And we're gonna get 2 foods, this one and this one. And we know that one of these has to contain dairy. So ingredients. to grab all the ingredients in these two foods. Then what? Wouldn't we get one ingredient for the first one? Ingredients. Empty. Empty. Oh. So we got one. MX equals dairy. Fish is one of these two. So I guess I can say one ingredients match, then add it to our found in allergens. And then when we loop back, allergens equal allergen square. Looped through somehow. Found allergens is only one. Oh, I guess I need to remove the ingredients. Ingredients equals ingredients. All right, so found allergen is 3, dairy, fish, and soy. And what do we need to do with that? Arrange the ingredients alphabetically by their allergen and separate them by commas to produce their canonical dangerous ingredient list. There should not be any spaces in your ingredient list. In the above example, this would be this. Arrange the ingredients alphabetically by their allergen. All right. You can't sort a dictionary. What do we do? Found allergens dot values order by value select I guess I should have created this dictionary the other way, ingredients and allergens, but we're already here. Let me flip this around. So found allergens, we're gonna have the ingredient be the key, the allergen be the value, and we change this to values, we change this to keys. And then down here, found allergens, keys, by wait, what? Order by their allergen. Oh, found allergens dot keys order by keys select found allergens B, which would give the ingredient, right? And then we'll do a join on a comma. Can we not do a join like that? Join does not take one. Okay. Join separator, which is a comma, and our values. Is that correct? Yes, it is. All right, let's see if we can get this to work with our big input. I have a feeling it might not, because we kind of depend on this finding one allergy thing. Oh, holy cow. Let me check that real quick. Okay, let's test that. Holy cow. Oh, we got it. So let's see. How did I do on this one? Oh, apparently not that great. Well, not bad. That's a good score for me. But apparently it wasn't too hard for too many people. It's crazy that yesterday it took me 4 hours and I was still close to the 1,000 rank. Okay, well yeah, this one is solved, I guess. So let's see. So I guess we used a lot of basically link queries to figure out these things. So for the first one, we needed to find which ingredients didn't look to belong to any allergen. And we basically just did that by saying, you know, for each ingredient, find out all the possible allergens. So for like, you know, KFCDS, that could be possibly dairy, could be possibly fish. And that's it. We would get this dairy and fish for KFCDS. And then we would invalidate it if there's, you know, any of these possible foods any of these foods contain, you know, if it says contains dairy, but we don't see KFCDS, and it contains fish, but we don't see KDCDS. So this one can't possibly be dairy or fish because otherwise it would show up here. It would show up in one of these two. It'd show up on either this one or this one. That's what we're doing with this link query down here. So since that failed, we would get our list of unknowns. And then for part 2, we were able to take that list of unknowns and shrink down our list of ingredients. So we got rid of all of the unknown ingredients. So we should only have a list of ingredients that matches, that has a possible allergen. Then from here, we basically looped through the allergens in a while loop, because there were some cases where an allergen would have multiple possible ingredients. But if we came across an allergen that had one possible ingredient, we would add it to our found allergen list and then remove it from our remove the found allergen and the found ingredient from our list of allergens and ingredients to search. And the way we were determining that is, you know, you first look at all the foods that contain the allergen. So if we were looking at dairy, we would grab these two lists, these two foods. And then inside of dairy, we would say, show me the ingredient that shows up only once. Or yeah, show me the ingredients that show up in all of these foods. So that would be, you know, this MM1, and that would be it. So we would have one ingredient that got returned. We would add that, and if it returned 1, we were basically saying that, hey, this one has to be dairy because this is the only one that shows up in this contains dairy one. And we just keep repeating that until we have, you know, all of our ingredients are found. Do a bit of select magic to order them and join it into a list, and then there you go. That solved that one. Yeah, this one was interesting. I liked the fact that it didn't take me 4 hours. A big bonus for this one. All right, that's it for this stream. That's solution day 21.